I tested this $4 smart plug so you don't have to. My favorite smart plug is the Eve Energy. It's rock solid, Matter certified, and costs about 40 bucks. That's 1000% more than this. So when I saw that this supported Matter, I knew I was gonna have to pick one up to see if it was worth plugging in. After all, if it's that cheap, it must be terrible, right? Or maybe it's secretly amazing. Let's find out. Hey, I'm Robert, and Oconee Smart Homes exists to make real homes more convenient, accessible, and safe with smart home technology. We serve real customers right here in Oconee County, Georgia, but this channel is for anyone who wants to make a simpler, smarter home. So earlier this year, Belkin announced that they were sunsetting their Wemo line, and I've gotten a lot of questions about recommendations for replacements. I normally say Eve or TP-Link, but it just feels like there's so many options. So let's see what this one's all about. All right, so we've got the manual here. Matter code's printed right inside, that's great. And actually this is a two-pack. This was a two-pack for $8 that I got on Amazon. The Matter code's printed right on the side, that's great. The size is pretty good. And then we've got this little green branded button on the side, that's fine. But anyway, let's get these paired up and build our tests and see what we've got. Okay, so let's get this thing plugged in and paired up. Black and orange and yellow. Disconnected the network, adding home. Well, look at that, paired first thing. So let's go ahead and add it to the office. Paired in a minute flat. That was easy. I'm gonna test basic functionality of on-off to see how it responds, as well as check the latency. Quick responsing. A little bit slower to update in the app there. Huh. I guess that was not as fast. And by the way, I do have the link in the description, but keep watching to see the results to find out if this is something worth spending your money on. That's better. To measure reliability, I've made a custom automation or flow using Homey. Every hour, the smart plug will turn on for 1 minute and then turn off, sending a notification whether it worked or didn't. I'm using custom variables to count and log the successes and the failures, so at the end we can measure the success rate. If the device fails to turn on, or consequently to turn off, that's logged as a failure. If the whole automation works, that's a success. Next, before we get to the test results, let's review general features and safety. The Oconee Smart Plug offers a simple on and off solution. It also has a power recovery feature that allows you to set what happens after a power outage. It doesn't support energy monitoring like the Eve Energy or dimming like some other smart plugs, but for the price, it seems to be a pretty effective solution. It is a Matter over a Wi-Fi device relying on a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band, which is not my favorite form of connectivity, but if you're just gonna have a few of these around the house, it's likely not gonna cause a problem for you. It's rated at a 15 amp output, so 1800 watts, which is actually the same rating as the Eve Energy, but the Eve Energy has UL or ETL certification, but I couldn't find anything about electrical certification for this device. So you'll probably wanna use this with lamps or small fans, or maybe your Christmas lights, or other appliances that don't use a lot of power. But higher power devices, like a space heater, you probably wanna avoid, because that 1800 watts is borderline for that use case. So just make sure you're being safe. I'm back with the results now. I was gonna let this test run for just 3 days, but then work and life got busy, and it's actually now been running for closer to 9. But that's better because it gives us a longer period of time and more data to accurately analyze the performance. Let's take a look at the results together. The first thing I'm gonna do is start the screen recording on my iPhone so that I can show you what I see here in the final edit. I'm gonna open the Homey app, and we're gonna look at the timeline where the results are reported. Okay, here's what I see. As of 11 minutes ago, the smart plug test has been successful 208 times. 208 times. Let me scroll backwards, 207, 206. Scanning here for a minute. I don't see any entries for failures. But let's double check this on the computer so that we can actually look at all the variables. All right, I've got the Homey web interface pulled up so that we can look more closely at the variables, since scrolling the timeline in the app was just kind of a mess. So first here, we're looking at just the general settings. I need to go to the apps and pull up the Better Logic library, because that's what I used for the variables, and we'll be able to see all the variables defined there in their current counts. Okay, so Better Logic library. And here we should see all the variables. Okay, and there they all are. So we have success, 208. That's good. That's exactly what we saw in the app just a minute ago. And failure, one failure on October 29th. That actually was me. So when I was building the flows and making the video for the demonstration, I did trigger the failure to make sure that it would log, and then I didn't clear that out. And that lines up with that timeline. So one intentional failure over the course of 9 days. I'm gonna call this a 100% success rate, which is honestly surprising. That means that over the course of 9 days, this device stayed online, ran an automation to turn it on, wait a minute, turn it off. This is pretty good. I was honestly expecting a little bit more failure here, for the device to drop off the network, for the automation not to run something, but that didn't happen. So that's actually really surprising and really good news. Well, honestly, I'm impressed with the Oconee Matter plug. It's cheap, basic, but reliable. It doesn't support energy monitoring or dimming, but for just $4, it did perform my testing flawlessly. So what do you think? Is it worth saving 30 bucks, or would you still go with an established brand like Eve? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see real-world smart home tests and not just marketing hype, click the like button and subscribe and stick around because I've got more coming for you. God bless you. We'll see you next time.